haven't seen the sun in forever. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Flo's Corner. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing common mistakes that you can make as a new phlebotomist. Now, this video is not to discourage anyone who feels that they are a new phlebotomist or a rookie. These are just certain mistakes that can happen once you become an actual full-blown phlebotomist after you got your certification and everything. I've even made some of these mistakes in the beginning because, like I said, this is a profession that you are going to learn and experience and get better at by doing. So that means that there's going to be mistakes made, and however, hopefully nothing very crucial where it's something that can really hurt someone or hurt yourself or anything of that nature. But these are just common mistakes that tend to happen to a phlebotomist, and it may continue to happen even as an experienced phlebotomist. It does happen. I'm not going to sit here and say that we don't deal with some of these here and there. So in this video, I will be discussing the common mistakes, and I'm also going to be discussing how can you prevent some of these mistakes as well. So number one on our list is going to be not properly identifying the patient. So as a phlebotomist, pretty much before you draw anyone, you always make sure that you let them tell you their name and date of birth. You always ask them, can I please have your name and date of birth? This will always identify the patient so that you know that you are in the right room if you're working in a hospital or if you're in a clinic and the patient has came to you. This is a common mistake that tends to happen because we may have had direction that this patient is in this certain room. Like, for example, you'll say in room 300, that's Mr. Smith. Now, you may go in the room, and even if someone told you that room 300 had Mr. Smith in it, it could be someone else in that room. Not always, little things like that can happen as a mistake on someone's part. Maybe they have forgotten or however, or the same thing. Someone else have came into your room and you just sat there and just getting ready to draw this person. Don't even really know who they are. When I worked in the hospital, most of the floors had 2 beds in there. So sometimes I would have to draw 2 different patients in the same room. So this is why you just don't want to make an assumption that this patient is this person. You definitely have to ask them their name and date of birth, never just their name, because anyone can have the name similar to their names or the same exact names, but the date of birth is different. This is a common mistake that can happen because sometimes as a new phlebotomist, maybe you weren't trained on the job very well, or even if you were, you kind of forgot. Someone just told you, hey, I need you to go and get this stat in this room, and you just assumed that patient was the one of the name on that stat, and you just didn't verify. I'm not sure how that goes, but it is a common mistake in the healthcare world. That can happen to anyone with even, in the nurse world or however, you may have given medicine to the wrong patient, but this is why you have to verify who this patient is. So always remember to verify their name and date of birth. One way to fix this common mistake is to never say the patient's name. You have them say their name and date of birth to you. Do not verify that this person is, I'm just going to say, for example, John Smith. And you can't just go, John Smith, date of birth 2/7/84, and then the person goes, yes. There are certain instances that someone may have not heard what you said or however, and they just nodded yes, like, yeah, that's me, or it does happen. I'm just saying. Sometimes there's also a language barrier, and depending on where you're working or however. So you always have the patient state their name and date of birth to you, not you saying, are you so-and-so? Number 2 on a common mistake that new phlebotomists may make is going to be improper tourniquet application. I do have a video on Blood Draw 101 where I discuss certain right and wrong things to do when you are trying to do a blood draw, and one of them is the application of a tourniquet. Sometimes you may place the tourniquet in a position where it is not giving you the vein popping up how you want it. Like in that video, I also discussed how to place the tourniquet where it can't be too high or too low, and I just go in depth on that. Now, improper tourniquet application just pretty much means it may be not tight enough, It could be, like I said, where the location is. And this can happen where you may miss, you may blow a vein, or however, because the tourniquet wasn't on correctly. So a way to fix this is to always remember your training. When we were taught about the tourniquet being at least 2 to 3 inches above the site. You never want to draw here and you place your tourniquet down here. That will not give you any type of distending of the veins the other way. If you had it here, then most of the time you would probably be doing a hand blood draw or a little bit further up from the wrist. But if you are going to be in this forearm, then you definitely don't want to tourniquet down here. And you don't want to tourniquet up here. You don't want to tourniquet like way high up here over the shoulder. I really don't like to say even up here as well, just like a little bit right there. Right enough where you're going to get those veins to actually distend and that you can see and feel them. Number 3 on a common mistake that you may make as a new phlebotomist is not anchoring the skin or vein. So pretty much anchoring the vein or skin just means that once you found your spot, you have your tourniquet on, you did the alcohol and everything, and now you're getting ready to stick. Anchoring the vein just pretty much means like you're going to take most of the time your thumb, and anchoring the vein just means that you're going to pull the skin down so that you can have your other hand stick. So pretty much I'm a righty, so I'm going to anchor the vein, anchor the skin, and then I'm going to stick. And I like that because it actually keeps the vein kind of steady so that it doesn't move. And pretty much once you have a hold on it, you really honestly don't have to continue to hold. Once you got into the vein and everything, you kind of let go of that anchor because you're already in that vein. So how to fix that would just be practice. I would always say practice on maybe like a doll or someone or anything like that, so they can kind of be like your guinea pig. Obviously don't stick the person. I want you just practicing sticking, but practice the whole tourniquet on someone, anchoring the skin, so you can see and get a feel of what that feels like. Once you're already inside of the vein, then like I said, the anchoring goes away because now you need your hand free to continue your blood tubes. Number 4 of a common mistake is not anchoring the needle. So not anchoring the needle just pretty much goes on not having a really firm and steady hold of the needle. This can happen as a new phlebotomist. Maybe you're a little bit scared or nervous. A lot of that anxiety is heading your way, and pretty much you're not really holding that needle real steady, real firm. And this can cause a miss of the vein because you didn't anchor it. You could have let go of the needle. You can accidentally withdraw the needle from the skin from the vein in the skin when you're going for it too, because you don't really have a firm grasp on that needle, or you can go a little bit too further into the skin as well. So it depends on what can happen when you're really not holding that needle steady and firm in your hands. So you don't want to accidentally withdraw the needle and try to re-stick in the same position, because obviously that will be very painful for the patient, and then there's going to be a pool of blood coming out because the tourniquet is still on, even though the needle had accidentally withdrawn. If you stick a little bit too further, you can damage nerves and tendons, and it will be very painful for the patient, cause hematomas and however. So definitely have a firm grasp on that needle. One way to combat that is to try to limit distractions. I know patients can talk to us. I know we can be a little bit distracted, but definitely keep your eyes and your mind on the blood draw. Kind of limit all the stuff that's happening around you, right in front of you. What is exactly right in front of you with this blood draw is what you should be focusing on. Always remember that. As a new phlebotomist, yes, we want to be very cheerful and everything, and talk to the patients, talk to our staff, talk to anyone around us, and however. But when you're first starting out, definitely pay attention to that blood draw. Hold the needle firmly. And hold it when you're changing hands to change your not changing your hand, changing the tubes and everything. Make sure that you are limiting distractions as much as possible. And there's nothing wrong with being very polite and telling the patient, I'm sorry, I just need to really focus, and however, and then boom. So you can actually not have that accidental withdrawing your needle or accidentally going too far or however. Also, I wanted to point out that if you do not have that firm hold on that needle, then you risk also moving the needle around in the arm, damaging all types of the vein walls and things, and that can be very painful for the patient as well. So like Patrick says from SpongeBob, firmly grasp it. Sorry, I'm kind of corny when it comes to SpongeBob. I love SpongeBob. Next on our list is not telling your patient to make a fist. So normally when you place the tourniquet on, you automatically tell them if you can please make a fist. And this is just going to help the veins distend because it's kind of restricting a little bit, which makes the veins kind of come up. Now, some people who do have really nice juicy veins, like I said, you'll see it boom, bam, boom as soon as you put the tourniquet on, or you may even see it before you even put on the tourniquet. But for the ones that you cannot directly see that this is a big juicy vein, tell the patient to make a fist. And then once you have successfully got into the vein with the needle, then you will tell the patient to relax their hand. This is one common mistake that I used to make when I was a new phlebotomist, because I don't know, I knew to do it, but I guess in the moment I wouldn't say. I would just do the tourniquet and then I'm already down there and I'm looking and everything and I'm like, oh man, kind of a little hard and stuff, when I could have just told them, hey, could you make a fist? And then it would have helped me and I wouldn't have been struggling like crazy. But then sometimes I would catch myself. I would be like, oh, I'm sorry. Can you please make a fist? Then boom, hey, the vein goes, hello, I'm here. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Yeah, so that is one common mistake I had made a few times when I was a rookie phlebotomist. How to fix that is very simple. Just tell them to make a fist. As soon as you put the tourniquet on, tell them, can you make a fist? That's it. Another common mistake that a new phlebotomist can make is going to be incorrect specimen collection. This can be a mistake that is kind of I want to say crucial for the simple fact of that this patient may have to be now stuck again because you had collected the specimens in the wrong tubes. But in phlebotomy, we have an order of draw which we have to follow because certain tubes have certain additives, and if you collect incorrectly, you can contaminate certain specimens that will give a false reading or an incorrect reading, which in turn will have this patient become a redraw, which means they will have to be stuck again. Now, this can happen. This is a common mistake, especially in the beginning, because there are so many tubes of different colors of the rainbow, you name it. Certain ones may look similar, but they have different additives in them. And that is a common mistake I've made once, actually, in my phlebotomy career in the beginning, with two of the tubes that look exactly alike, and I drew in the wrong tube, which meant that that patient had to come back the next day because of a redraw. So if you don't know, there is no way that they can just pop open the top, pour it into the right tube, and then go on about their day, because like I said, all tubes have, well, most tubes have additives in them, and it's already contaminated. So we don't want to add, and yeah, you don't want to do any of that and anything of that nature. So if you catch yourself making that mistake, then do be honest with yourself. Let your supervisor know and let them know that you had drew in the wrong collection tube, the wrong color. You didn't follow the order of draw and however. And then you'll look for your supervisor to give you further guidance. A quick way to fix that is to write your order of draw and have it with you, whether it's in the room, or if you're in a clinic, or if you're in a diagnostic laboratory, or however, even if some hospitals, if you're in a room that this is where patients are coming into you, have it somewhere where you can see it. If it's right there where you're getting ready to draw, or however, so you can see which of the tubes go in what order. Nowadays, you can go on Amazon and you can purchase these little card tubes that's like you can put on your badge. And however, if you need to glance at it real quick, okay, well, blood cultures is first, then the side tray. If you need to glance at it, hey, do what you have to do. But embed that order of draw in your brain. Study it. Not just leave your course and graduate and just go, okay, well, order of draw, I don't need to know. You need to know these things. Also, definitely learn the additives, because everywhere you work is not going to tell you what color tube it is. And even if it does tell you the color of tube, you need to know the additive in it so you know which one, because like I said, there are certain tubes that have the same color tops, but they have 2 different additives in them. So you definitely need to embed that as well. Another common mistake is going to be incorrect labeling. So incorrect labeling is just that. If you draw a bunch of tubes, right, and the labels have the exact testing and whatever else it has on there, like the serum may say serum, the EDTA may say EDTA. If you put like the EDTA on the serum one, this is where the incorrect labeling is going to be a problem, because it's not labeled correctly. Now, certain labs may make that such a really true big deal, because they're thinking it's supposed to be tested like this, but it was actually another type of tube. So this can definitely pose a problem as the phlebotomist, because now they will call up, they would say, hey, this is the wrong label on these tubes. Wrong labeling can also mean that it wasn't the right patient on that label. It could have been, maybe you had a label sitting around or however, and you thought it was this person and you put it on this one, and that's not the test. Now this test was not ordered for this person, but that's his blood. Yeah. Incorrect labeling is a big no-no. It does happen. Like I said, it does happen as a new phlebotomist. It can happen, but it shouldn't happen. But you just have to be a little bit more diligent in making sure on what you're labeling. Look at your labels. Look at whose names that's on there. Never just collect 5 people and then think I'm going to remember, I think I drew a serum for him. I think I drew a citrate for her. And you always label your tubes while you're still in the room with that patient, always. This will help without any of that communication or mislabeling and anything like that, if you at least do that when you are finished with your blood draw, labeling your specimens. And however, you don't want to just collect, put it in the little bag or however, and then put the label, throw those labels. You don't never just do that. Just put it in. You don't want to mess up the incorrect labeling, because that is a big no-no. I'm telling you, with your lab. And something like that will have you have that sit down with your supervisor that you don't want. So definitely try to be more diligent in reading your labels and what tubes they go on, and making sure that that patient and date of birth and everything is correct. Our next common mistake is not effectively communicating with your patient. I discussed in lots of my other phlebotomy videos that we cannot just walk in there, start the tourniquet, getting ready to stick this person without telling them anything. You have to communicate with your patient from the start of you in that room until the start of them leaving that room, or if you leave the room or however. Pretty much that just means that from the name to date of birth, what you're getting ready to do, telling them to make a fist, please don't move, lift your arm, I need you to put your shirt up. Like, all of this has to be spoken to when you are with your patient. Because if not, if the slightest thing goes wrong, the first thing they're going to say is that I didn't know, because they didn't say anything to me. So to always have your back, effectively communicate with your patient about every single thing that you're getting ready to do with them, and let them know, because like I said, you don't want to sit there and just kind of take their arm, lift it up, you don't want to do that. You can tell them, can you raise your arm? I'm going to put the tourniquet here, and this one, I need you to make a fist. This is a lot of stuff that tends to not happen sometimes as a new phlebotomist, because we're afraid. We don't want to seem kind of mean or anything. Like I said, you don't have to say it in a mean demeanor. You can say it really nicely. If you can just raise your shirt, and I need you to kind of bend your arm like this and stuff. You can do it like slightly or however to kind of initiate it and stuff, but you have to effectively communicate with your patient. For example, sometimes you may have started with the patient like this, and then after they see that the needle is in, some of them may bend their arm back like this. You see, If you don't effectively communicate with your patient, that right there is going to give you a blown vein, or it's going to actually make the needle come out, or however, or make the blood stop or whatever. So effectively communicating just means like, no, please don't move your arm. I'm almost done, or however, I got 2 more tubes or 1 more tube or whatever. And blah, blah, blah. Always communicate effectively with your patient, because think about it. Would you ever want somebody to just walk up in your room and you're in the hospital and they're just like taking your arm and, you know, kind of like, shut up, don't say nothing and sit here. You're like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? What am I getting blood drawn for? And, you know, la, la, la. Another common mistake, which is definitely a big one, and this is also, I believe I went through this one as well, and that's rushing, because you don't want to look incompetent. You don't want to look like you don't know what you're doing. So you're rushing through it like you're an experienced phlebotomist, and you're technically not yet. This is definitely one which a lot of, just not even in phlebotomy, even a new job, you just want to feel like you're the best, and oh man, you know, I don't want nobody to know that I'm new, I'm the rookie, and however, so, you know, you tend to rush. With phlebotomy, we cannot rush, because if you rush, there's mistakes coming right after you rushing, and we don't want that. So that's why this is a common mistake. So rushing because we don't want to look incompetent, and we have the fear of they don't think that we know what we're doing. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. I don't care if you're with a patient for 15, 20 minutes. Take your time, because I would rather be slow and get it done the right way than fast. And I messed up so much. This patient is bruised and in pain and is screaming, I want a lawyer, and all of that stuff. Take your time. There's nothing wrong, even if you tell them, hey, I'm new here, or I just learned, or however. I mean, that's up to you if you want to tell them your business or whatever, but take your time. They will appreciate the pain that they're probably going to feel, because you were more on the slower aspect than all of that torture pain that they felt because you were rushing and you were forgetting steps, and then you forgot the wrong tube, or you didn't do the order of draw, and now, yeah, we don't want any of that. So definitely always remember to take your time. Even as an experienced phlebotomist, I do catch myself slowing down as well, because I don't want to make a mistake. If I'm going in there and I have 6, 7 tubes to do, oh no, baby, I'm not trying to rush. I'm trying to take my time so I know what's going on. And the last common mistake is tearing yourself down because you missed or you weren't able to draw the blood effectively. As a new phlebotomist, this goes kind of hand in hand with the one prior to this, which is rushing. We don't want to tear ourselves down. You don't want to feel that this is it, I'm never going to be anything, this was the worst career I've ever thought about, and however. It happens even to the most experienced phlebotomists. We may miss. It does happen. I always try to reassure you that no one is the same. Everyone is different. Everyone has different veins, different textures of skin. Some people have rolling veins. There's all types of different, diverse people out here. So every blood draw is not going to give you the greatest successful blood draw, maybe not always on the first stick. I know we always aim to stick once and draw our tubes and go on about our day, but sometimes you may have to go to the next arm or the hand or somewhere else. This is literally part of the phlebotomy journey that we have. I'm an experienced phlebotomist, and I have moments where that vein decided to say, you thought. So I go, I missed, I'm sorry, take my tourniquet off, whatever, bandage them up, and I have to, can I check on your next arm? It does happen. I can't get no more deeper than that. It does happen. Like I said, even to the most experienced. It's nice to commend yourself and pat yourself on the back. Well, everybody I get on the first try, but I'm going to tell you, baby, I don't always get everybody on the first try. If anything, it'll be like maybe once or twice out of the month, I had to do someone else on the second side or whatever. It happens, but I don't want you as a new phlebotomist to tear yourself down, because we definitely can. Now, I relate to this very much because I would feel so overwhelmed when I was working in the hospital after my 10-hour shift. I would have maybe about 40, 50 patients. And I'm not even gonna lie, maybe 15 to 20 of them, I was like, man, I missed, I have to do another, or I just couldn't get them at all. And now someone else had to go in there, you know, to do what I didn't, what I started, finish what I started. And yeah, I would like be in my car and I'm really sad. I was like, dang, I think I made somebody else's day worse because they had their patients and they had to do mine on top of that. And I did. I was tearing myself down. I felt like this wasn't for me. I was like, woo, I spent all this money on this course and I don't know. I'm thinking I should just go back to being this or going back to being that, because yeah, it will start, you start getting in your fields. You start getting in the fields and it's no joke. But as a phlebotomist that has learned a lot from a lot of my mistakes, even certain here and there, I may make certain mistakes here and there, but I just want to encourage all of you to never beat yourself up for if you missed, if you've gotten a blown vein, even if it caused a hematoma on a patient. Do not beat yourself up. You just learn, redirect what you did, and then you're just going to be successful. Learn from it and be successful later on. And I always want to give this positivity because sadly I didn't have this when I was a first rookie. Like I would go back to work and they was like, oh God, here comes Flo with, oh, the one that's always missing. Oh my God. And you know, people tear you down. People tear you down. They didn't have to say nothing, but it ain't like I didn't know. They were like, yeah, she got us always going in the room after her and however. Don't beat yourself up, okay? You are better than that. You are strong. This is a career that you learn by doing. Like I tell you all the time, the textbook can teach you a bunch of things, but it is a hands-on profession that you will get better at by doing. I've had days where I've had at least 90% of my patients great draws. I got it boom, bam, boom, in and out, in and out. And then that last 10% was everybody was a butterfly, everybody was a heart stick, and it just went downhill right to the end of my shift. And like I said, even as a experience there, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, what in the world? I was doing so good. What happened? It happens. Like I said, just redirect and figure it out right then and there. If you can't get this patient, try to look to the next phlebotomist or a supervisor or however, but never feel down and tear yourself down. You got this. Is my motto. This is my motto from day one as a phlebotomist. Honestly, I'm saying that because it wasn't a motto before because I didn't know to say that. But if I was to tell myself something when I first became a phlebotomist, it would be, you got this, honey. And this is why I'm here for y'all and telling y'all that you got this. It's okay. You're gonna get better. You're gonna do great. I cannot wait to see you guys soaring in the phlebotomy world with me and things. So definitely. But I really wanted to come on here to just kind of give some of the common mistakes we make as rookies, new phlebotomists, and however. Like I said, this video was not to tear down anyone because like I said, I've done some of these myself and I've done it here and there now. It happens. But I wanted to get real raw with y'all. Y'all know how I really love my phlebotomy career and I love the phlebotomy world. And if I can be that helping hand for anyone, I pray to be that helping hand for anyone. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please write them down in the comment section down below. I am thinking about doing a Q&A about flow, so just kind of look out for that because I'm probably going to do like a post that asks you guys if you have any questions, if anything you want to know about below, and pretty much. But if you don't forget, I also have a playlist on all of my videos, and there's certain categories. I do have a phlebotomy playlist if you want to watch all of my videos where I discuss order of draw, how to prevent heart sticks, and all of this stuff. Anything you want to know, just definitely click on those playlists because that's where they will all be. Definitely give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you are new to my channel. I really hope this video was helpful and I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye.